Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the intense drama unfolding in Port Charles, where arrests shake alliances. Desperate propositions ignite old flames, and hidden captives cling to fading hopes of rescue. In the heart of Port Charles, tensions are boiling over as Nina Reeves finds herself squarely in the hot seat, her world crumbling under the weight of an unexpected arrest that has everyone whispering about conspiracy and betrayal. The stylish magazine editor, known for her sharp wit and unyielding loyalty to those she loves, is now facing charges related to the attempted murder of Drew Cain. A plot twist that leaves fans reeling from the implications. As handcuffs click into place, Nina's fiery temper erupts, her eyes flashing with a mix of defiance and disbelief, demanding answers from the authorities who have turned her life upside down. This development not only threatens her freedom, but also strains her already fragile relationships with key figures like her daughter, Willow, and her ex-husband, Sonny, forcing her to confront the consequences of her impulsive decisions in a town where secrets never stay buried for long. Meanwhile, across town at the cozy confines of Bobby's Diner, Carly Spencer and Sonny Corinthos continue their charged conversation, the air thick with unresolved history and the scent of fresh coffee masking deeper undercurrents of strategy and emotion. Carly, ever the resilient businesswoman with a knack for turning crises into opportunities, leans in with a sly smile, proposing something audacious that catches even the unflappable mob boss off guard: marriage as a shield against legal testimony. Drawing from their tumultuous past, where multiple weddings served as clever maneuvers to evade courtroom subpoenas, Carly reminds Sonny of those high-stakes unions that protected their empire and their secrets alike. Is this just her signature banner, laced with humor to lighten the mood after Nina's shocking detention nearby, or could it signal a genuine rekindling of their legendary Carson chemistry? As they exchange glances, it's heavy with shared memories of weddings under duress, from lavish ceremonies to impromptu vows in hidden locations. The possibility of another trip down the aisle adds a layer of romantic intrigue to the chaos, hinting at how far these two ex-spouses might go to safeguard their inner circle. Shifting scenes to a more lighthearted yet poignant exchange, Molly Lansing Davis engages in a heartfelt chat with Cody Bell outside the stables, where the rugged wrangler's sense of honor shines through amid the everyday bustle of horse hooves and distant city sounds. Molly, the compassionate attorney with a soft spot for underdogs, beams as she praises Cody's recent act of kindness involving a mischievous beagle named Outback, the pint-sized pooch who has stolen hearts across Port Charles. Recalling how Cody turned down a hefty reward to reunite the dog with her original family ties to Lulu Spencer or Gio Palmieri, Molly emphasizes that true reward lies in the bonds formed, especially since Outback's playful antics like her notorious sandwich swipes have endeared her to a growing circle of admirers. With Outback now settled in Cody's modest home, surrounded by open fields perfect for romps, visitors such as young Emma Scorpio Drake, who giggles at the dog's energetic tail wags, or Rocco Falconeri, who tosses fetch toys with glee, can drop by freely. This furry addition not only brings joy to Cody's solitary routine, but also weaves him tighter into the community fabric, perhaps even sparking unexpected alliances or budding friendships that could play into larger storylines involving lost connections and redemptions. Over at Drew Cain's sleek waterfront residence, the atmosphere crackles with calculated intensity. The mayoral candidate outlines a clandestine opportunity for the enigmatic Jen Sidwell, whose puzzled expression mirrors the complexity of the task at hand. Still grappling with the fallout from his own shooting and the recent upheaval in his personal life, including convincing Willow to return home only for her to face arrest, fixes his gaze on the recovering congressman, a figure whose recent hospital discharge has left him navigating crutches and grueling rehab sessions with gritted determination. As Jens probes for clarity on his potential involvement, questioning how his skills in political maneuvering and discreet negotiations might align with Drew's objectives. The conversation hints at a vendetta against Curtis Ashford, the man suspected in the attack that nearly claimed Drew's life. Inventing a web of intrigue, Drew envisions Jens leveraging his insider knowledge of Capitol Hill scandals to unearth evidence that could dismantle Curtis's reputation, from fabricated alibis to shadowy financial ties that expose vulnerabilities. Will Jens, tempted by the promise of redemption from his own corrupt past, step into this morally gray role? Or will his hesitation lead to a dramatic refusal that reshapes alliances in Port Charles' power struggles? The stakes feel personal, as Drew's resolve hardens, blending paternal protectiveness for his family with a thirst for justice that could ripple through elections and courtrooms alike. At the Port Charles Police Department, the sterile interrogation room amplifies Nina's outrage as she paces furiously, with Detective Harrison Chase maintaining a professional distance that does little to quell her storm. Freshly arrested on conspiracy charges tied to Drew's attempted murder, Nina's mind races with accusations and fears, her demand to speak immediately to her echoing off the walls, likely a frantic plea to connect with her daughter Willow, whose own detention she may not yet fully grasp. Alternatively, her fury could be laser-focused on Carly Spencer, the woman with whom she clashed heatedly at Bobby's earlier, blaming her for orchestrating this downfall through whispered influences or direct sabotage. Imagining Nina's tirade, one can picture her unleashing a torrent of words on Carly, recounting every perceived slight from corporate rivalries at Crimson Magazine to personal invasions during family crises, all while acting District Attorney Justine Turner observes with cool detachment. This confrontation promises explosive revelations, potentially dragging long-buried resentments into the open and forcing Nina to weigh loyalty against self-preservation in a legal battle that tests the limits of mother-daughter bonds and former friendships. In a more vulnerable moment, within the confines of a family therapy session turned nightmare, Willow Tate unleashes her anguish on Michael Corinthos, her tears streaming as she confronts what she perceives as the ultimate betrayal by the man she once trusted implicitly. Seated in the softly lit room adorned with comforting artwork meant to foster healing, Willow's voice breaks as she questions Michael's motives, convinced that the therapy gathering was a calculated trap designed to humiliate her in front of their children, shattering the fragile peace they had rebuilt. Though the truth likely paints a different picture, with authorities acting on independent evidence like security footage exposing gaps in her alibi during the critical time frame. Michael's composed demeanor raises eyebrows, especially after his earlier assurance to Sonny that his own arrest was off the table. Behind the scenes, investigators such as Anna Devane and Dana Falconeri have pieced together inconsistencies, including Nina's solitary movements captured on camera that contradict their joint story, details guarded closely to preserve the case's integrity. As Willow's sobs echo, the scene delves deeper into her internal turmoil, exploring how her nursing career and maternal instincts clash with suspicions of foul play, potentially leading to a heartfelt reconciliation or an irreparable rift that alters the Corinthos family dynamic forever. Finally, delving into the shadowy depths of Alexis Davis's basement, Rick Lansing endures a nightmarish captivity, his desperate dreams offering fleeting solace amid the gag and ropes binding him in this improvised prison of damp concrete and flickering bulb light. In his fevered vision, Elizabeth Baldwin, the steadfast nurse with a history of quiet heroism, descends the creaky stairs, her face paling at the sight of his dire state as she whispers, "Oh my God," before rushing to untie him, her skilled hands providing the rescue he craves. This hallucination weaves in elements of their shared past late-night hospital shifts and mutual support during Port Charles' myriad crises, amplifying Rick's hope against the isolation. Yet, in harsh reality, Elizabeth's involvement remains speculative, fueled by her and Molly's growing suspicions about Alexis's abrupt vacation from digital traces, prompting quiet investigations into vanishing social media posts and unexplained absences. As Rick's dreams blur with delirium, the plot thickens with invented layers. Perhaps hidden clues like a misplaced key or overheard whispers hint at an impending discovery, building suspense around whether Elizabeth's intuition will lead her to the basement, or if Molly's legal prowess uncovers the truth first, setting the stage for a dramatic unveiling that could append the Davis family secrets and Rick's fight for survival. We will learn about the escalating tensions between Drew Cain, Willow Tate, and Michael Corinthos as family bonds and hidden agendas clash in Port Charles. In the latest twists unfolding on General Hospital, Drew Cain is determined to keep Willow Tate's resolve firm against Michael Corinthos, especially after he dangled the tantalizing prospect of reuniting her with her beloved children, Wiley and Amelia Corinthos. The young Wiley, with his curious wide eyes and endless energy, has been drawing colorful pictures of his missing mother during playtime at the Quartermain estate, while little Amelia clings to her stuffed bear, whispering questions about when Mommy will return for story hour. These innocent longings tug at Willow's heartstrings, making her eager to embrace any opportunity for visitation, even if it means glossing over the bitter custody battles and Michael's past restrictions that kept her at arm's length. Yet, as Willow steps into Drew's dimly lit hospital room, her face beaming with the fresh news of Michael's unexpected leniency, a shadow of unease crosses Drew's features like a storm cloud over the harbor. He grips the bedsheets tighter, his mind racing with visions of Willow drifting back toward the man who once shattered their family unit, unwilling to witness her defenses crumbling so swiftly. Drew's apprehension stems from a deep-seated fear that Willow might abandon their shared vendetta against Michael, particularly now that reconciliation seems within reach through supervised visits that could evolve into fuller embraces over time. Picture the scene: Willow, dressed in a simple yet elegant blouse that hints at her renewed hope, leans in to share how Michael has softened his stance, allowing her glimpses of the kids' daily routines from Wiley's soccer practices in the park to Amelia's giggling sessions with building blocks. This olive branch from Michael arrives like an unforeseen truce in a long simmering war, catching even the most jaded observers off guard. Drew, still bandaged from his recent shooting ordeal, exchanges a tense glance with Willow, his congressional pin glinting under the fluorescent lights, a reminder of the power he wields beyond these walls. He had meticulously crafted a narrative portraying Michael as the unyielding villain, blocking Willow's path to her children out of spiteful control, complete with whispered tales of Michael's ruthless business dealings at ELQ that supposedly influenced his family decisions. But with Michael's sudden pivot toward compromise, perhaps influenced by his own reflections during late-night stackouts or heartfelt talks with his sister Carly, Willow's enthusiasm bubbles over, and she contemplates shelving the underhanded tactics they once plotted, like fabricating lab results to expose Michael's alleged painkiller dependency or pinning the blame for Drew's attack squarely on him. Delving deeper into Willow's turbulent history with Drew, their romance ignited amid the chaos of Port Charles scandals, only to fracture under the weight of deception when she uncovered his tangled ties to her mother, Nina Reeves. Willow had poured her soul into their connection, sharing quiet evenings by the lake where they dreamed of a future unmarred by secrets. But the revelation hit like a tidal wave. Drew's omissions about his evolving bond with Nina, who had masqueraded as someone else in Willow's life for years, eroded the trust they built. In a tear-streaked confrontation at the Metro Court, Willow declared their chapter closed, vowing to rebuild her world around her marriage to Michael and the stability it promised for Wiley and Amelia. However, desperation crept in as custody hearings loomed, with Michael's lawyers citing Willow's past choices as liabilities. That's when she circled back to Drew, not out of lingering affection, but pragmatic calculation. His status as a rising congressman opened doors to influential contacts in family court, from sympathetic judges to expert witnesses who could sway opinions. While his cunning mind hatched schemes to undermine Michael's position, Willow's return to Drew's side was laced with calculated moves, like late-night strategy sessions in his waterfront office where they pored over legal documents under the glow of a desk lamp, blending personal chemistry with political maneuvering. Yet, as Michael's conciliatory gesture reshapes the landscape, Willow's priorities shift dramatically, leaving Drew to grapple with the fragility of his role in her life. She envisions tender moments ahead, helping Wiley with his homework on rainy afternoons or cradling Amelia during lullabies, scenes that Michael's approval now facilitates without the need for Drew's shadowy interventions. the sabotage ideas they once entertained, altering medical records to suggest Michael's instability or leaking fabricated evidence of his involvement in Drew's shooting, now feel like relics of a darker time, discarded in favor of this fragile piece. Drew, however, simmers with reluctance, his jaw set in determination as he recalls how he refused to yield during their early courtship. Flashback to those initial sparks. Willow, fresh from her nursing shifts at the hospital, would spot Drew lingering outside her apartment, his charismatic smile disarming her defenses even as she pleaded for space. "Please, Drew, stay away. Michael and I are building something real," she'd say, her voice wavering between resolve and temptation, while inside, memories of their stolen kisses during community events haunted her. Drew ignored the boundaries, escalating his pursuit with thoughtful gestures like delivering fresh flowers from the docks or inviting her to understated dinners at Kelly's, where conversations flowed from politics to personal dreams, drawing her inexorably closer despite her marital vows. This unyielding pursuit defined Drew's approach then, and it echoes now as Willow urges him to respect her pivot toward reconciliation. Just because she confides in him about Michael's change of heart, detailing how he proposed the visits during a tense family meeting at the mansion, with Sonny Corinthos nodding in cautious approval, doesn't guarantee Drew will step aside gracefully. He envisions the fallout, Willow slipping back into Michael's orbit, attending barbecues at the Quartermain estate where laughter rings out around the pool, or joining school events where Wiley proudly introduces her as mom. Drew had positioned himself as the architect of her comeback, the one who would orchestrate the custody victory through back-channel deals and persuasive speeches in Washington. Michael's intervention steals that thunder, positioning him as the reluctant hero who mended the family rift, perhaps after soul-searching walks along the waterfront or advice from his father, who always emphasized blood ties over grudges. Drew's pride stings at the thought. He had grown accustomed to being Willow's confidant in hidden corners of the city, her night shielding her from Michael's perceived tyranny, complete with promises of a life where she could thrive as a mother without compromise. In this intricate web of loyalties, Drew confronts an existential question. Without his heroic mantle, what remains of his bond with Willow? He paces the hospital corridors in his mind, replaying their intimate talks where she leaned on him for emotional strength during lonely nights away from the kids. If Michael's reasonableness erases the need for Drew's schemes by passing the risky alliances with shady informants or the ethical gray areas of congressional leverage, Willow still seek his company for its own sake? Perhaps she'd drift toward simpler joys, like baking cookies with the children in a sunlit kitchen, leaving Drew to his solitary reflections on power's limits. Yet, his tenacity suggests he won't fade quietly. Expect Drew to counter with subtle manipulations, maybe suggesting Michael's motives hide ulterior business motives tied to Elk expansions, or encouraging Willow to probe deeper into his sudden goodwill. As Port Charles drama intensifies, viewers are left wondering if Willow's heart will waver between redemption and revenge, with Drew's influence proving the pivotal force in this emotional tug-of-war. Next, we will learn about the gripping drama surrounding Rick Lansing's secret imprisonment in Alexis Davis's basement and how Cody Bell could emerge as the unlikely savior in this tangled web of betrayal and redemption. In the shadowy underbelly of Port Charles, Rick Lansing finds himself trapped in a nightmare straight out of his own dark history, paying the price for years of ruthless schemes. Long ago, Rick's villainous streak peaked when he orchestrated the abduction of Carly Spencer, locking her away in a hidden panic room with the sinister goal of claiming her unborn child as his own, a move that shattered lives and ignited endless feuds across the town. Now, during the tense week of October 13th to 17th, that karma has circled back with ferocious intensity, as Rick endures isolation and torment in Alexis's dimly lit basement, a space once meant for storage, but now serving as his personal prison cell. Whispers among the Quartermain elite suggest that Rick's captivity is just punishment. It's a calculated response to his latest betrayal, forcing him to confront the fear and desperation he once inflicted on others. As days blur into nights, Rick's mind races with regrets, replaying moments where his ambition blinded him to the human cost, turning allies into enemies and family into foes. Molly Lansing Davis, ever the determined daughter with a fierce loyalty to her roots, steps into the spotlight as she vows to track down her missing father, her resolve hardening like steel in the face of family deception. At the cozy confines of Bobby's Diner, a hub for Port Charles gossip where secrets often spill over coffee, Molly engages in a cryptic conversation with an unseen confidant, her voice steady yet laced with urgency as she declares her intent to uncover Rick's whereabouts no matter the obstacles. This announcement isn't mere rhetoric. Molly has always been the glue holding the Lansing legacy together. Drawing from her mother's unyielding spirit and her own sharp investigative instincts honed from years navigating legal battles and personal heartaches. Inventing a deeper layer to her quest, imagine Molly poring over old phone records and tapping into her network of courthouse contacts, piecing together clues that point to a cover-up bigger than a simple disappearance, perhaps even enlisting the help of a skeptical T.J. Ashford, who senses something amiss in the family's overly polished explanations. To mask the truth from prying eyes, Ava Jerome, Alexis Davis, and Christina Corinthos Davis have woven an elaborate tale of Rick's voluntary retreat into a digital detox program, claiming he's unplugged from the world to recharge amid the chaos of Port Charles life. This fabricated story paints Rick as a man seeking solace in nature, phone-silenced and unreachable. A narrative designed to buy time while the trio plots their next move in this high-stakes game of revenge. Ava, with her flair for dramatic facades, likely crafted the details herself, drawing from her own experiences, dodging scandals in the art world and high society. Adding inventive twists, picture the women rehearsing their alibis in hushed tones at the Metro Court, where Alexis's legal mind ensures every loophole is sealed, while Christina's fiery temper simmers just below the surface, haunted by the near-fatal incident that started it all. Their alliance, born of necessity, crackles with underlying tension, as each woman guards her own secrets, Alexis fretting over the ethical lines she's crossed, and Ava calculating how long they can maintain the illusion before Rick's absence raises red flags in the Corinthos circles. As Rick languishes in captivity, his subconscious offers a fleeting escape through a vivid dream featuring Elizabeth Baldwin, the enduring love who once anchored his turbulent soul amid the storms of his past mistakes. In this ethereal vision, Elizabeth appears as a beacon of tenderness, her gentle eyes and comforting presence reminding Rick of the softer side he buried under layers of ambition and deceit, a poignant contrast to his current reality of cold concrete and echoing silence. Delving deeper, this dream sequence could unfold with invented emotional depth, Rick reliving their stolen moments in the Quartermaine Rose Garden, where whispers of what could have been mingled with the scent of blooming flowers, only to shatter as the basement's chill pulls him back. Elizabeth's spectral form might even urge him to atone, planting seeds of self-reflection that challenge his hardened exterior, hinting at a potential redemption arc if he survives this ordeal. Such dreams serve as the show's clever nod to longtime fans, weaving in nostalgic threads that highlight Rick's complex romantic history and the lingering what-ifs that define his character. Meanwhile, outside in the crisp autumn air of Port Charles, Cody Bell strolls, leisurely with the spirited outback, the pint-sized pooch tugging at his leash with boundless energy, oblivious to the drama unfolding nearby. Suddenly, a raw, bone-chilling scream pierces the tranquility, drawing Cody's attention to the foreboding entrance of Alexis's basement, a hidden door camouflaged by overgrown ivy and forgotten crates. Cody's instinctive reaction is one of shock and resolve. What in the world is that? He might mutter, his rugged features tightening as he drops the leash, outback yapping in confusion. This pivotal moment underscores Cody's innate heroism, a trait forged in the rodeo rings of his youth and tempered by the losses that shaped his wandering spirit, perhaps inventing a backstory where a similar cry for help during a Texas storm saved his own life, instilling a lifelong code to never turn away from those in peril. Cody Bell embodies the archetype of the flawed yet noble protector, his rough-around-the-edges persona hiding a core of unwavering compassion that draws people to him like moths to a flame. Despite his history of cons and close calls, including that explosive fallout with Max Scorpio over falsified paternity tests. Cody's actions speak louder than his sarcasm, rescuing Sasha Corbin from the horrors of Ferncliff when she was lost to hallucinogens and manipulation stands as testament to his bravery. Expanding on this, envision Cody's past exploits, a time he pulled a stranded hiker from a ravine during a Wyoming blizzard, or how he once shielded a vulnerable stable hand from an abusive ranch owner, traits that mirror his current affection for Outback, whom he adopted after finding the pup shivering in an alley, nursing it back to health with makeshift meals and endless patience. His bond with the dog and just companionship. It's a symbol of redemption, teaching Cody vulnerability in a world that once chewed him up. When faced with Rick's desperate pleas, Cody won't hesitate. His strong, silent resolve propels him forward, flashlight in hand, descending into the unknown without a second thought. One intriguing possibility lingers in the air. Could Molly be accompanying Cody on this fateful walk, her presence turning a solo adventure into a serendipitous family reunion? If so, the scene amplifies the drama. Molly's ears perking at the familiar timbre of her father's voice amid the cries, her hand clutching Cody's arm as she begs him to investigate the source, blending her emotional stake with his physical courage. In this imagined scenario, Molly's intuition, sharpened by sleepless nights worrying over Rick's silence, guides them both. She might recall a childhood memory of playing hide and seek in that very basement, piecing together the location before Cody even fully commits. Their partnership in this moment could spark deeper connections, with Molly witnessing firsthand Cody's selflessness, while he gains insight into the Lansing family's labyrinth and loyalties, potentially forging an unbreakable alliance that strengthens their budding romance. Should Cody successfully liberate Rick from his confines, the fallout promises fireworks across Port Charles, earning him instant hero status in Rick's eyes while igniting a firestorm of retaliation from the scheming trio holding the strings. Rick, emerging gaunt but grateful, would likely offer his blessing for Molly and Cody's relationship without reservation, viewing the cowboy as a steadfast ally worthy of his daughter's heart, a rare endorsement from a man who's guarded her fiercely since her birth. Yet, this act of mercy comes at a steep cost. Ava's vengeful glare, Alexis's calculated countermeasures, and Christina's explosive accusations would target Cody relentlessly, perhaps framing him for unrelated crimes or spreading rumors to isolate him from his support network at the Quartermain stables. Inventing layers here, Ava might plot a subtle sabotage, like tampering with Cody's riding gear to stage an accident, while Alexis leverages her dot connections to scrutinize his past, testing the limits of his golden heart against their united front. The roots of Rick's imprisonment trace back to a venomous betrayal that fractured his uneasy partnership with Ava Jerome, a duo once united in extortion, but now splintered by greed and grudge. It all stemmed from Christina's reckless act, a botched assault where she aimed to silence Rick, but nearly took Ava down in the crossfire, an incident buried under layers of coercion and cash. To keep the truth locked away, Rick and Ava turned the screws on Alexis, compelling her to siphon funds from young Ace Casadin's trust, an innocent child's future rated to fund their silence, with Alexis's hands trembling as she authorized the transfers under duress. Their scheme hummed along until Rick's opportunism reared its head, pocketing Ava's share to invest in high-yield bonds, a sly move he justified as securing their gains long-term, but one that enraged Ava to her core, her elegant composure cracking as she envisioned him slipping away with their ill-gotten fortune. In a fit of fury, Ava delivered a stunning blow to Rick's ambitions, literally striking him over the head with a prized antique vase from Alexis's collection, heirloom symbolizing lost elegance now shattered on the floor amid the chaos. This violent clash marked the end of their criminal collaboration, with the women dragging Rick's dazed form to the basement, securing him with reinforced locks and a gag to muffle his protests. Their strategy, coldly pragmatic, hinges on waiting out the bond's maturation period, perhaps 6 months of tense vigilance where they monitor market fluctuations and Rick's deteriorating morale, inventing added tension like Rick attempting a daring escape using a loosened floorboard, only to be recaptured by Christina's watchful patrols. Ava's rage isn't just financial, it's personal, rooted in Rick's history of abandoning partners, echoing her own scars from Nicholas Cassadin's deceptions, making her retribution all the more poetic and unforgiving.